Are you struggling with cravings, brain fog, low energy levels, belly fat, lower body fat, or high blood sugars? In this video, I'm going to explain to you what insulin resistance is, what causes insulin resistance, and how to reverse insulin resistance. First of all, what is insulin resistance? Insulin resistance is when our bodies resist our own insulin. Insulin is a hormone that both men and women have that helps to keep our blood sugar stable. Anytime we eat food, the food is broken down into glucose and then absorbed into the bloodstream. From here, the pancreas is then triggered or signaled to produce insulin. Remember, insulin's main job is to keep our blood sugar stable. So it then transports the glucose from the bloodstream to our cells to be used as energy. This process here is what lowers your blood sugar. We want our blood sugars to be stable. When our blood sugars are stable, we feel good, we have good energy levels, good digestion, think good, and are satisfied with food, and our body breaks down body fat. When our blood sugars are not stable, meaning having spikes and crashes, we can have brain fog, low energy levels, digestion issues, infections, anxiety, depression, kidney problems, heart issues, and a rapid onset of weight. When the body has an excess amount of body fat, this makes it harder for the liver to control fasting glucose levels. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, the bell to be notified every time I post a new video about nutrition, health, and weight loss. I help people who have insulin resistance reverse it. I have helped countless people lose that unwanted belly or lower body fat, reverse diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and even get off their medications that were treating those conditions. I'm excited to share some of those tips with you in this video. Now that we know what insulin resistance is, let's talk about what causes insulin resistance. We know that insulin transport glucose from our foods to our cells for energy. When those cells become full of glucose, there's no more room, and that is when we become insulin resistant, and our insulin is having problems with getting that glucose into the cell. So what happens next? As our blood sugars begin to rise in the bloodstream, since insulin is not working now as it should, elevated blood sugars will continue to signal the pancreas to produce insulin. This is where the problem begins. The blood sugar continues to stay elevated, which keeps signaling insulin to be produced, creating inflammation in the body. Brain fog, low energy levels, belly or lower body fat, hormone imbalances such as PCOS, diabetes type 2, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and thyroid disorders. When we have insulin resistance, when we eat food, our pancreas is signaled to produce insulin. Then the cell resists or will not open to allow the glucose in. This is where glucose is stored as fat, and this is where we begin to feel tired and hungry. Now, if we eat again before insulin has time to come down, our body's insulin level rises even more, and this is what causes many chronic medical conditions such as the diabetes type 2, PCOS, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, thyroid conditions, and even fatty liver disease. Is this resonating with you? If so, hit that like button right now. Do you have insulin resistance, PCOS, diabetes, or any of these other conditions or symptoms I've mentioned? Comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Insulin resistance is often missed as a diagnosis, as the standard of care is to test for fasting glucose rather than fasting insulin. It can take as many as 10 to 15 years before you are diagnosed with any of these chronic conditions associated with insulin resistance. Conditions like diabetes and PCOS can be reversed with reversing insulin resistance. But what happens often is these patients are prescribed metformin to treat PCOS or diabetes rather than actually treating the root cause of insulin resistance. Not treating the root cause of insulin resistance can lead to many conditions such as heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or fatty liver disease. Though metformin does work to lower the blood sugar, it has some serious potential side effects such as the risk for lactic acidosis, which can be serious and even fatal. Now that we have an understanding of what insulin is, what insulin resistance is, and the symptoms associated with it, let's look at how to reverse it. Tip number 1, you want to consume high quality protein sources each time you eat. Yes, even with an apple. Consuming carbohydrates alone, even high nutrients. Carbohydrates such as oatmeal, apples, or bananas, for example, create an insulin spike. It's this insulin spike that is creating even more insulin resistance, leading to more symptoms and chronic medical conditions. High quality protein source of foods will slow the blood sugar effect of carbohydrate. Tip number 2, you want to read your labels and limit your intake of foods with the top 3 ingredients listed as enriched wheat, flour, or sugar. This means that the nutrients have been stripped away and added back. The issue here is that these foods have a much quicker effect on blood sugar, and especially if not paired properly, which only puts more fuel on the fire. Tip number 3, move. A person with excess body fat, insulin is impaired due to the inflammation in the body, and this impairs insulin function even more. You cannot spot reduce body fat with activity. This is why you want to focus on full body movements 3 to 5 times a week. Things like walking, full body resistance training. Avoid long cardio or workout sessions. This worsens insulin resistance due to the stress created within the body. If you're struggling with any of these conditions, I'd love to help. You can find my calendar down below in the description to book a free strategy session with me. And be sure to check out the next video on how to lose weight and eat carbs with macros.